Hello, making another video. I know it's been like two or no, I think it's been almost 2 weeks since I've posted an article or video on my blog, and also, as you can see, I've decorated the back a little more. Something to look at instead of listening to me boringly talk the whole time. No, just kidding, but kind of serious. But anyway, so I was thinking of this topic for the past week or two, and I haven't really seen anything online about it or anything. It's just kind of an idea that I came up with in my head. I had written an article about how I was going to go to the gym, and I ended up liking working out at home better. And so basically, I mean, I would always look up forums, and if any of you also have anxiety, you might also tend to look up forums a lot, like for answers online about specific things that are going on in your life. So I was looking at forums of like anxiety when going to the gym, and at home workouts. When you have anxiety and these kinds of things, and I was like thinking, my whole life I was like thinking, well, not my whole life, just since I've been working out in like middle school or high school, I've been thinking like, um, or I've read things like, oh, you just have to, push yourself to go in, like nobody's paying attention to you as much as you think they are, et cetera, et cetera. And then it would always come up with things to get yourself to go into the gym. And I was like, I feel like that's for the everyday normal person. I don't feel like those really, I mean, those could apply to me, but I don't really feel like those really apply to people with anxiety because it was less about fear. I mean, some people do have fear around going to the gym, but for me, it was just a complete discomfort, and I was completely uncomfortable, and I'd rather work out at home because to me, working out feels like a very personal thing. And, as someone who has anxiety, I feel like I'm not afraid to go to the gym. It's just overwhelming. Too many people, too much going on, too much stimuli, and I can't handle it. And I'm just like, it's not for me. Like, I've gone on and off in my life. If I really had to, like, if I really had no other option to work out, but then I was like, you know what? I have an option to work out at home, and I'd rather do that because, let's face it, for me at least, there's a difference between a fear and between anxiety, you feeling anxiety around certain things. So for me, and probably other people, um, there are certain things I can and can't do. Like, not can and can't, let's not be negative here, but there are certain things that make my anxiety worse, and there are certain things that make my anxiety better. And I tend to go for the things in life that make my anxiety better and to skip the things that make it worse, which in this case was going to the gym. And so when I found it at home, okay, it's not like I'm facing my fear like of public speaking or facing my fear of doing this, and then once I do it I feel completely like, oh yay, I don't have that fear anymore. It's not like that to me. I feel like they're two separate things. So if you were to say like, oh, I have a fear of public speaking or something, and then you end up speaking in public, a couple dozen times, and that fear goes away, that's a fear. But I feel like with anxiety, it's sometimes it's like false fear, or sometimes it's just general discontent and discomfort with just a feeling inside that you feel uncomfortable, or you have this like bad feeling inside. So for me, those usually get worse around certain songs, certain shows or movies. Like sometimes I can watch horror films, sometimes I can't. It really depends. Like sometimes my anxiety's fine, sometimes it makes it horrible. It like gets intense. And for me, going to the gym was like, this is doesn't suit me. It's not, I'm not afraid to go. It's just overwhelming and I don't want to go, and I'd rather work out at home. And it's a personal thing for me, and I want to personally be in my own space at home. Now, that's just, I guess that's a preference, and it's more about how I feel regarding my anxiety and making certain choices to make myself feel better. Why the heck would I want to go to the gym and feel horrible? I'd rather work out at home and feel amazing and not get that overstimulated feeling that the gym gives me. Um, so I'd really rather do that and not have my brain constantly over processing and overthinking at the gym. I'd rather just cut that whole step out and just get right to the working out at home and not have to overthink about anything because there's nobody around me. So I would say there's definitely a major difference between not wanting to do something for anxiety and not wanting to do something because you have a big fear of it and you're afraid. So no, for other people, maybe it's a fear and you should just push yourself and then you'll feel better after. But for certain things with anxiety, if you push yourself to do it, it doesn't really feel like it's, you're facing it. It just feels like it's kind of torturous to just like push yourself and do it. It just makes it worse. It's just, in my opinion, it's better to, yes, face your fears, but if it's like pure anxiety around something and it's like, what am I looking for? It's like pure anxiety and it's discomfort and you're never gonna feel comfortable in that position, then there's no point of pushing yourself into torture. So there's definitely a major difference, and I would say that you you shouldn't have to push yourself around when it's something with anxiety and it's never gonna get, if it's never gonna get better, like for me going to the gym is never gonna really change for me, then there's no point of putting myself through that. So I guess I don't know if you guys really have thought about these things, or you feel like fear and anxiety like the same thing or that kind of stuff, but examples of certain things that I do is I change certain things in my life just to help my anxiety a bit, rather than making saying, oh, I just want to do this and I don't want to feel anxiety. Well, the fact of the matter is that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes it might, but it's not. So you have to really do things to help it. For instance, I like to get a lot of my stuff done during most of the day, because when it gets to nighttime, I get my, the anxiety comes in strong. So I like to get a lot of my things done during most of the day and the daylight, because when it gets dark outside, I kind of start getting anxiety and getting scared and all this stuff. So I also have to change certain things, like I don't want to listen to certain songs during certain periods of time, or during the day or night that give me anxiety. I don't want to watch certain movies or shows that do. For me, I like to watch, I don't know if this helps with other people, but familiarity really helps rather than new things when you're having like a bout of intense anxiety. Like, for instance, I don't want to start a new TV show when I have anxiety. I'd rather watch something familiar and something that feels okay with my anxiety. I can't start a new TV show or watch a movie when I'm having strong anxiety. I'd rather watch something familiar, something funny, something lighthearted, things like that. So I pretty much change a few things in my life to make sure when I have anxiety or anxious like flare-ups, that I don't try and push myself to do something. Because with anxiety, I found that with certain things, you can improve it so much. But when you have bouts of anxiety, don't push yourself. It's okay. Like you don't have to be like, oh, this person's doing this and this person's doing this, and I'm sitting over here getting anxious about this, and it's so dumb, and I wish I did it. No, just stop with that. You have to accept that it's a part of you, and you have to accept that you're going to be different from other people. So how you react to things, your goals, your levels of doing things are going to be different than other people without anxiety, or in that case, other people with anxiety, because there's like a spectrum of, intense anxiety and just a little bit of anxiety, etc. So you have to really have your own goals and your own levels. You can't expect yourself to be at everyone else's. You shouldn't push yourself when you're having intense anxiety. You should just accept it, accept that you have it, and not be hard on yourself about it, because it's not really in your power to give yourself the anxiety or remove the anxiety. It just happens. You can make it better. It can be worse. You can do things that will make it worse, but you can't really have control over it. You don't have like an off button for your anxiety. So there's no need to push yourself or pressure yourself. You should really just accept it and just let the anxiety come through. Let it flow through, and then eventually, whenever it's done, let it be done. But don't push yourself to be like, I have to get this done, and I have to do this, and I have to reach this level even if I have anxiety, and I have to do this. Because I found, for me personally, that just stresses me out, and I'd rather I'd rather feel the anxiety and know I have the anxiety and know what's going to make it worse or better, and not push myself, you know, to do anything more than I can do at that time. So, getting back to the topic I was discussing with fear and anxiety, you should really think about certain things in your life, whether it's a fear and you can face it, or if it's anxiety and it's just uncomfortable, because you shouldn't have to push yourself to do something that you're completely uncomfortable with and you're never going to be comfortable with. Certain you can, I mean, over the years you might be able to get better with certain things or be more comfortable with certain things, but you really shouldn't push. If it's a fear, yeah, push yourself. Go do that, practice more, and get rid of that fear. But you really have to determine whether it's a complete fear and it can be resolved, or if it's anxiety and you don't want to torture yourself pushing yourself to do it. So, yeah, let me know, guys, if you've experienced these kinds of things, or you've thought of this, or if you've tried similar things to this and what your results were. But it's kind of something I've just been thinking about for like a week or two and wanted to discuss. And I love to hear from other people of whether they've had the same things. Like my friends, I like to, ask them if they've experienced the same things or they thought about it. It's definitely a topic I love to discuss, to see what other people have experienced too, and if it's similar to me. And I just find a comfort in knowing that other people have it and might have experienced similar things, or that it could maybe help someone. So yeah, just let me know. All right, see you later, guys.